Yeah.
Yes. So, like, and Venkat, what about you? Are you getting the recording option for you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. And for Soumya, because each and everything, like, for everyone, record the session. Soumya, are you getting recording option?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm getting, sir.
Yeah, fine. So that daily you record the sessions. If any queries or like if you're not getting any point clearly, immediately you ask me. Because right now we are going to finish the fundamentals from Java language. And Sai, can you call to Sami? Sai?
Yeah, Chandra. I haven't stored his number. Could you please send it again?
Yeah, I will send it. Sami.
Yep.
Now I send a number you see. So that we will start the session.
I tried calling him, but he's not answering the call, Chandra.
Okay, okay, fine.
I'll leave a
We'll leave
message
it.
for him. Okay.
Okay, fine. Yeah, yesterday we discussed about static variables, final inheritance, right?
Yes.
So what is the main advantage with inheritance?
Code reusability.
Yeah. So we will get reusability, right? So what is going to be base class? So what is base class and what is derived class from inheritance?
Yeah, base class is where we have all the defined functions, and
Okay.
if we want to use these defined functions in some other class, we have to implement this class. We have to extend this class into the other class, and then that class
Okay.
becomes the derived class.
Yeah, fine. Fine. So why we used a keyword super in yesterday's session, right? What I shown, we used a predefined one which is called super. So why we used that?
To inherit the functions of the superclass.
No, no, no. In
No?
constructor level, we used super, right? Constructor level. That means that is from the derived class. We used that super. Why we used that super? That is to call superclass constructor, right? Superclass constructor. Okay, please check that. So from derived class constructor, we specified or we written super keyword. Super is a predefined word given in Java language, right? And why we use this, another predefined word? Why we used this?
This means the variable is for that class, that particular class only.
Come again?
This means the variable is only for that particular class.
No. To differentiate class level
This is for
variables.
current object.
No, no. See, uh, to differentiate class level variables, what we created in the private section, right? And local variables. Local variable means the method level variable. What we created in the method level. Okay, please note that. This is very important. So when we differentiate or when we need to differentiate class level variables with class level variables from
Method level
method
one.
level variables, right?
Yep.
So then we should use this predefined word. So what about static variable? Why we create static variable?
Use static keyword when the input value stays the same for all objects. Like if you want a variable to have the same value even if different objects use it.
Yes. And what about final?
Final word is used when we want to have a constant value assigned to a variable.
Yeah, that is simply you can say to create a constant or to represent a constant.
Mhm.
Okay, 1 minute. So let me share my screen. Now you see I shared my screen. So is it clear for you? Now today we are going to discuss about static block. Yes, now here you see in this class we created two normal variables and one static variable. So the normal variables are number of integer type and the name is of string type. Okay, and the count is of static type. So that means here you see all variables created as private here you see. Okay, fine. Then when we want to initialize static variable, okay, then we have to create a block, separate block which is called static block. This is a static block. Okay, now in this static block or from the static block we initialized static variable using. So through static block, we are unable to initialize normal variables. Understood? So here static block allows to initialize static variables, but not normal variables. And we created one more method you see. This is a method show message method, and just we displayed some values, displayed some message only using. Okay, we are not created any value or we are not initialized any value there. Okay, just we shown a message. Okay, now in main method we created the object for the created class. Okay, we created the object for created class. Now after object creation is done, okay, here this is static block executes. Okay, so after static block execution is completed, then here you see we are trying to execute, or yes, to execute show message method we specified s dot show message. That means when we want to run a method, then we must write a statement like that, right? Yes, let me show. Now here you see initially static block executes, then after normal method executes. Now here you see static block is invoked. That means here. Okay, so after count value initialized to 0, then we show this message as output. Okay, after that we executed this message, this method. So what we implemented in the class. Okay, that is about static block. So just a simple revision. Static block helps us to initialize what are the static variables we created in the class. Understood all of you right now? Sai, Ilakishan, Soumya and Venkat. So is it clear for you? Yeah. Fine, Sai. And Ilakishan, Soumya and Venkat. Venkat, is it clear for you right now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, no problem, Ilakishan. Now, here you see, we created a class called showFinder. This class, we are not created any variable, but only one public method we created using. Okay, so from the public method, we are showing a message, like a message from final class. Okay, and here you see one more class we created here, which is called showFinal1 extended. That means which class extended to showFinal1? Yes, showFinal class extended to showFinal1. So for what purpose we extended? Yes, to reuse what is the method we created to show final class. To reuse that method in this class, we extended it. Okay, now tell me what is superclass and what is subclass here? Which class is superclass and what is which class is subclass?
Show final is a superclass.
Yes.
Show final 1 is subclass.
Yes. Show final is a superclass or parent class. Okay. Or base class also we can say. And the show final one class is known as subclass, derived class or child class. Okay, we can call the classes with different names but concept is same. Okay, fine. Now, for example, now when any method, see, presented in the superclass is re-implemented in subclass, then we can call that as overriding. Another important concept. Okay, let me show the example before of this. Just a moment. Now here you see, we created a class called shape. Okay, that is to represent any shape. So to represent a shape, at least we must create two values. Okay, so that's why to represent those two values, we created two variables using diff1 and then diff2. Okay, we created two variables of double type using. Understood? Okay, is it clear right now? Here you see we created two double type of variables diff1 and diff2. And moreover, you see we created a constructor using. So what is constructor? So what's not a constructor? Can you tell me? Hello? Yeah, Sai, Leela Krishnan, Soumya, Venkat, any one of you. What is not a constructor?
Method having same name as that of the class.
Yes, any method created with the class name, we can call that as constructor. So for what purpose we have to use this constructor?
Initialization.
For what purpose? Initialization. That means when we want to initialize the object, then we must use constructor, right? So in the created class shape, see we created a constructor. Now this constructor accepts two double type of values. So that means when we given two double type of values, it accepts and assigns those two values into div1 and div2 what we created in the shape class. Okay. So like this. Once assignment is completed here, you see we created a method called area. So when we want to calculate or when we want to find area of the shape, but shape is not decided. Okay, So without, like you see, without knowing any shape, how we can find out the area? We don't know any formula. That's why simply we written 0.0. That means area is not calculated. Area is not found here. Like that we created a class called shape. Understood? Is it clear right now? Is it clear right now? Yeah, fine. Electrician. Soumya, Venkat, Sai. Yeah, fine. Now here you see. We created one more class to represent rectangle. Okay? Just 1 minute. Oh, hello? Yeah. Now we created second class called rectangle, that is to represent the rectangle. We created second class to represent a rectangle. Okay, now to represent a rectangle, at least we need to take two values. But those two values are created in the same class. Now to use those two values, we extended the shape class into rectangle class. Understood all of you right now? Okay. Now in rectangle class also we created a constructor. Okay. Fine. Now this constructor accepts two values, two double type of values. Okay. So after the values are accepted, okay, after the values are accepted by this constructor, yes, we pass those two values into subclass. Why we passed why we passed these two values into subclass? Yes, because in subclass we are not having any variables to assign the given values. That's why we passed those two values to subclass. That's exactly. So that finally assigns those two values to div1 and div2. Okay, fine. So after assignment is completed, then here you see we calculated the area of the rectangle. Okay, to calculate the area of the rectangle, we re-implemented area method. Okay, now here you see this area method is not suitable for us to calculate area of the rectangle. That's why we re-implemented that method in the rectangle. Okay, so that means here superclass method is re-implemented in subclass. That is known as overriding. Overriding. Now tell me what is the difference between overloading and overriding? Any one of you? Main difference between overloading and overriding. Overloading also we discussed, right, in the previous sessions. So that can you tell me what is the main difference between overloading and overriding? Yes, Sai, Dilakishan, Soumya or Venkat.
Overriding
Difference
means
between,
you are rewriting the superclass function in the subclass, whereas
yes,
overloading means having same method name multiple times with different arguments or different number of arguments.
yes. So that is the main concept. That is the main difference between overloading and overriding, right? Understood? Yes. Now, here you see. After area method is re-implemented here, we created a main method, right? In main method, we created the object for rectangle class, and while creating the object, we passed two different values for constructor of the rectangle. Then we executed area method. Okay. Now let me execute this. You see, area is finded as 200. Okay, that means here you see we given two values, 10, 20. Okay, that is about. Now here you see, is it clear for you right now what is meant by overriding? So overriding is nothing but re-implementing the or re-implementation of superclass method in subclass, which is called overriding, right? Then let me take one more. But here we have to discuss one more point also. So now this implementation is unnecessary in the superclass, right? We are unable, actually that is not necessary. Return 0.0 is not necessary here, right? So just you see, I'm modifying the code like this without, you see that. So we have to create a method. That means when we want to use or when we want to reuse the same method in the subclass, okay, initially we must declare that method. Okay, here you see, now see that just only method declared here. Okay, you see that when we want to re-implement this method in the subclass, we created a class. Oh, sorry, we created a method only, but it is not defined. But it is not accepting like that, showing error. Okay, then now, how we can solve this problem? That means here my intention is reusing of this method in the subclass. Reusing of this method in the subclass. Like that we created a method, but not implemented in the subclass. But when we created a method here, it is showing error. Without definition, it is not accepting. Then what is the solution here? Yes, simply we must create this method as an abstract here. Abstract method. even though error is showing, even method declared as abstract error is showing, then what is the solution here? Yes, we must make this class as abstract. Now you see, error removed from here. So when we want to declare a method without implementation or definition, we must create that method as an abstract method. So moreover, any class having abstract method, then we must create a class also abstract type. Understood? Is it right now? Is it clear? Okay. Is it clear? If any queries, you ask me right now. Sai
Yeah, it's clear.
and Soumya and Naveen. So is it? Yeah. So what is meant by abstract method? One of the introduction. So you may get the introduction here. What is meant by abstract method and abstract class?
Declaration of method is called abstract method without an implementation.
Sorry, come again.
Uh, when you only have to declare a method without any implementation, it is called
Yes.
an abstract method. And if you are implementing an abstract method, even the class should be an
Okay.
abstract class.
Okay. Fine. So rectangle class is same. So we need not modify that. Okay. So if we executed this program, so we're getting the same output, you see. Just we modified here. Okay. Like what we done? Yes, so we removed the implementation of the method and we added abstract keyword. This is one of the keyword given in Java language, right? So here conclusion is, if any class having abstract method, then we must create that class also as abstract. Understood? That is about abstract classes and abstract methods. Okay. Now here you see show final. We created a class called show final, and we are not created any variable in that. But whereas we created a method, show message method we created. Okay. Okay, fine. And for example, if we want to override this show message method subclass, then we must inherit like this using. That we know very well. So when we need to override this method in the subclass, then we must extend show final class to show final on class. That we know very well. For example, if we want to restrict overriding of the method, okay, show message method. If we don't want to override this method in the subclass, then how we can restrict overriding? Yes, it's very simple. Simply by making this method as a final. Now you see final. So when any method created as a final method, then what is the meaning of that? Yes, we are unable to override. That means we are not going to override that method in the subclass. Now you see error is showing immediately. So What is the error showing here? Yes. Cannot override final method from show final. So that is the error message showing here, right? Okay. So that is about final methods. In the same way, final classes also. That means if we don't want to create subclass for this class or for any class, then we must create that class as a final class. You see? Now let me create this class as a final class. Now see, here error is showing. So what is the error message showing here? You see that. Show final one cannot subclass the final class show final, right? That means we are unable to create subclass for show final class because the show final class created as show final class created as a final class. That is about creating of the final methods and final classes. Okay, and already in the previous session we discussed about static variables, okay, and abstract classes, abstract methods, all these things. So any queries from all these, from any one of you? Sai, Ilakishan, Soumya and Venkat. These are the very fundamental things from Java. So any queries, please ask for it. If any queries are there, please ask for it. Hello?
Yeah, Rajesh, I'm clear about with abstract final.
Okay. Abstract classes and abstract methods.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, fine. And Sai?
Yes, on that, clear.
Yeah. And Soumya? Hello, Soumya, you there? Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. So, right now we finished fundamentals from Java language. But we have discussed one more concept also here, that's static methods. So let me show. So are you getting my screen right now?
No, it's not visible.
Yeah, let me check it. Now here you see, here we created a class called static bank. Okay, that is to represent account folder name, balance and account number. Okay, that is to simply can say to represent some bank folder related details. We created a class. Which details we are going to show, like account folder name, account number, with balance. So to represent these, we created this class. Okay, and here you see we created setters and getters. Setters and getters means setter methods and getter methods. Like set account folder get account number. So for each and everything we created centers and getters. Okay, and you see in the main method we created the object using sv1. Here we created an object that is to represent a account holder. So here account holder name given as Rakesh and account number given as 1002 and balance as 4200. Now for each and every month we need to calculate the interest for that balance, right? Okay. Now to calculate the interest for that account holder, you see we created a method called find interest. Okay. Now for find interest method, we pass first account holder details, which is presented as one. So that this method calculates interest on the deposited amount. And here you see we created one more object to represent second account holder details. And for this account holder also, we need to calculate interest. So that for the same method, that means here you see this is the common method we need to use to calculate interest for each and every account holder. So that's why we created this method as a static method. That means when we want to access all objects in common method, then we must use or we must create that method as a static method here. Already we discussed about static variables. There is a common value for all objects what we created in the program. And this is common method for all objects what we created in the program. Okay? That's about static methods concept. Now you see what are the concepts we finished till now? Class creation. So the first one is class creation. Then object creation. So creating of private and public. And then constructor creation. Constant value creations by using a defined word which is called final. Method overloading and then constructor overloading. About this keyword. So these are the concepts we finished till now, right? queries from these things. So that means very fundamentals is completed from Java language. So if any queries are there, please ask me right. Moreover, I have sent all these examples for you, right? And one more thing, inheritance also. So inheritance also we discussed about. So understood? So these are the concepts, basic concepts of digital.
Chandra, you haven't shared the code for this.
Sure.
For your earlier class, you haven't shared the code.
Like the inheritance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will send it. I will send that code to Trey.
Okay. Yeah. Even today's class, please.
Yeah, I will send today's session
Okay.
examples and
Yeah.
yesterday's session related examples. I will send them today.
Okay.
Okay? Yes. Any queries? Okay. So shall we go for the next concept? Now let me execute this also. You see, this is for first account hold related details. This is for second account hold. You see, for first account holder, this much amount is given, and for a second account holder, this this much amount deposited in the account. Understood? Yeah. So, do you have any idea on command line arguments? So, I think I think you have some idea on the command line arguments, right? So, what is the command line argument? Yeah, hello. Can you tell me what is the command line argument?
The user directly gives the input.
Yeah, fine. So, let me show that. Now, here you see. Now, we created a integer variable, you see, a, and it is initialized to 10. Now, here you see. So, actually, clearly you see static void main of string args. This is the actual structure of the main method in Java language. Why we are writing string args here? Okay, yes. Now we will get the concept. See, I'm going to execute this program. While I'm going to execute this program, I'm going to make simple configurations, run configurations. You see, now arguments. So in arguments tab, I given two values, you see 10 and 20. Okay, when we given these values, then exactly our system passes these two values for main method, then stores those values in this variable called args. So args is of array type. Okay, understood? Okay, right now. So what are the values we specify here in arguments tab? Those values exactly passes to main method, that is into args. That is an array. Args is a array type. So we need not store. Our system is going to store all these things. Our system handles. So what are the values we specified there known as command line arguments? Understood? So like this. Now finally the values stores in this array. Now if we want to find how many values stored in this array, then we must use a property called length. The predefined property is given in Java language, which is called length. So when we want to find how many values passed as a command line, then we must use this property which is called length. That is args.length means we will get count value, how many values we passed from there. And then we store that value in the integer variable called count. Okay? Then we are dividing a value with count. So what is the a value we given here? 10. And what is the count value we got already? 2. So 10 divided by 2, then finally we will get 5 as the resultant value. Just wait. Let me check. Now here you see what is the resultant value we got here? 5. Understood? This is about command and arguments concept. So is it clear for you right now? What is our command and argument? Is it clear right now? Yeah. Sai, what about you? You're fine. And Ilakesh
Yes, it's clear, Chandra. I'm fine.
and Soumya and Venkat. Soumya and Venkat, is it clear for you right now what I told you? about command line arguments. Okay, fine, Venkat. About Samya. Okay. So now just you stop the session today, and a task I'm giving here. The task is create a class to represent bank account holder related details. Okay, I'm repeating. Create a class to represent 10 account holder related details. Okay, and you have to store some amount in each and every account holder account and calculate interest for each and every account holder. Okay, and you have to show them as output. So you must use constructors, static variable, static method, final variable, final concept. So by using all these concepts, you have to write this program. Okay, once it is done, please send me the mail. So what is the solution you created for that problem? Yes, please send me that. Understood all of you right now? Sai election from here vendor. Yeah. So please do that assignment, and once it is done, please forward. So if any problems or if any mistakes you've done, then we will discuss. Okay? Yeah. Stop today's session. And tomorrow we will discuss some other concepts. Okay? Have a good day, bye bye all of you. Yeah, okay, Leela.
Yes, Sonia.